Welcome back, students. In this part we will study about rivers and lakes. So a large number of rivers flow through the continent of Europe, and some of them form boundaries between different countries, while others provide a valuable source of water, for example for agriculture, freshwater fish, for food, etc. Let's read about these rivers. The first one is Volga River. Now the Volga is the longest river of Europe, and it originates from the Valdai Hills and flows to a length of 3,690 km before it drains into the Caspian Sea. And the river offers an important reservoir of natural gas, potash, salt and other valuable minerals. Next is the Danube River. It is the second longest river in Europe, and it originates from Germany's Black Forest and flows into the Black Sea. And it also passes through four capitals, namely Belgrade, Vienna, Budapest and Bratislava. Next is the Dniester River. River Dniester flows through Eastern Europe. Its course runs through Ukraine, turns towards Moldova and then back to Ukraine, where it flows into the Black Sea. And Dniester is one of the longest rivers of Europe. Then is the Ural River. The Ural River flows through Russia, Kazakhstan and discharges into the Caspian Sea. And a reservoir and hydroelectricity power station is there, which uses the river's water for generation of power. Next is the Rhine River. It flows to a length of 1,233 km and then discharges into the North Sea. And during its course, it flows through 6 countries: Switzerland, Austria, Principality of Liechtenstein, Netherlands, Germany and France. And the river originates in the Swiss Alps and is the longest river of Germany. The last river is River Thames. Thames is only 346 km long, and it is England's longest river and the second longest river in the United Kingdom. Before Britain was separated from continental Europe, the Thames was a tributary of the Rhine, and the English Channel was formed about 7,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. Now let's talk about the lakes. First is the Caspian Sea. The Caspian Sea is located in Western Asia on the eastern edge of Europe. Is the largest lake on the planet. So Caspian Sea is the largest lake on the planet. Next is the Lake Ladoga. It is a freshwater lake located in the Republic of Karelia and Leningrad Oblast in northwestern Russia, and it is largest lake in Europe and the 14th largest freshwater lake by area in the world. So area wise, it is the 14th largest freshwater lake. It is separated from the Baltic Sea by the Karelian Isthmus. It drains into the Gulf of Finland via the river Neva. Lake Ladoga is navigable, being a part of the Volga-Baltic waterway, which connects the Baltic Sea and with the Volga River. Next is Lake Onega. It is the second largest lake in Europe and situated in the northwestern part of the European portion of Russia between Lake Ladoga and White Sea, and it is dark yellowish brown in color towards the center and grayish brown along the shores. Next is Lake Vänern. Now this lake is in Sweden, has more than 97,000 lakes, including its largest lake, which is the biggest of the European Union, and it is the third largest lake in all of Europe behind Russia, the lakes of Russia, that is Ladoga and Onega, Russian lakes. Next is about peninsulas of Europe. Now Europe is a large peninsula stretching to the west of Asia, and Europe itself, it has many smaller peninsulas, therefore it is also called Peninsula of Peninsulas. And because of these peninsulas, most locations in Europe are no more than 482 km from an ocean or a sea. So there are two types of peninsulas, northern peninsulas and southern peninsulas. Under northern peninsulas, first one is the Scandinavian peninsula. It is located in northern Europe and is occupied by the nations of Norway and Sweden, and it is bounded by the Norwegian Sea, the North Sea, and the Baltic Sea. And this peninsula shows the results of the movement of glaciers during the Ice Age. So this peninsula, it traces the movements of the glaciers, and it happened during the Ice Age. Next is the Jutland Peninsula. It is directly across the North Sea from Scandinavia, and Jutland forms the largest part of Denmark and a small part of Germany. And this peninsula is an extension of a broad plain, that reaches across northern Europe. And its gently rolling hills and swampy low-lying areas are very different from the rocky lands of the Scandinavian peninsula. So Scandinavian peninsula has rocky lands. Here they are gently rolling hills with swampy low-lying areas. Next is the southern peninsula. First one under that is under southern peninsula, it is Iberian Peninsula. It is home to Spain and Portugal. The Pyrenees Mountains, they block off this peninsula from the rest of Europe. Second one is Italian Peninsula. It is home to Italy, shaped like a boot, and extends into the Mediterranean Sea. 7,563 kilometers of coastline it has. Italian Peninsula. Last one is the Balkan Peninsula. It is bordered by the Adriatic, Ionian, Mediterranean, and Aegean seas, and it is mountainous, therefore transportation is very difficult. The last one is the islands. Now, another striking feature of Europe is its islands. The larger islands are Great Britain, Ireland, Iceland, Greenland, all located in the North Atlantic. And although far from mainland Europe, Iceland and Greenland were settled by Scandinavians. So these two, Iceland and Greenland, they were settled by the Scandinavians and have maintained cultural ties with the mainland. All of Europe's islands have depended upon trade. So the islands of Europe, they have depended upon always trade. Now, therefore, with this topic islands, we come to the end of the chapter, that is chapter 7, Europe. Thank you so much.